Hey everyone, this is Derek Bros with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we're going to talk about alternative social media platforms. Before I do that, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com because besides all the platforms we're about to go over, the easiest way to keep up with the content that I create and that our team creates, including Regan, Hannah, Danilo, and whoever else out there wants to join, is to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com. And on that note, I noticed this article recently from Dig called Remember Bookmarks? And it's kind of funny to me because I think that maybe bookmarks are kind of like from the internet 1.0 or 2.0, some sort of past era where most people just go to social media channels instead of actually bookmarking websites. You can see right here it says stop following and start bookmarking. So, instead of just bookmark or following, clicking get notifications on people's social media sites, actually bookmark their websites. And I've even had a few people say, I don't even know how to bookmark. And I don't know if that's just because they never heard of it or it's, excuse me, or it's just unfamiliar. It's just something that people don't do anymore. But Control D will typically bookmark. And I have folders which are right above your view, all on my taskbar for articles I need to read, websites I regularly check, things like that. So just get in the habit of doing that. That's what I mean when I say bookmark theconsciousresistance.com. Save it in your regular viewed sites so that you actually go look at it, or just whatever you have to do to remind yourself to check it out every couple days or once a week, because I'm releasing content throughout the week, but I update it typically on the weekends. So the point of today's video, though, is to, for one, ask you to bookmark this website, of course, but also to talk about the various alternative social media platforms that I use, because many of you heard me talking about this for a couple of months now, that I plan to leave YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just generally Google, Amazon, Twitter, all those platforms by January 2019, which is just about 10 days away, 11 days away. And I will say this, I'm open to considering an alternative option. I've seen lots of comments on YouTube and elsewhere, people saying, and even on Instagram, people saying, well, why would you limit your ability to reach people? Why cut yourself off? And people saying, I appreciate your principled stance, because that's what it's about for me. This is not just like I'm mad at Facebook because they shared my information or something. It's just because from me, more from a philosophical, principled stance, I don't think that I know I don't want to continue to support these institutions. And I also know that if we don't make an effort to ever actually live in line with our principles, well, then nobody's ever going to live in line with their principles. People can bitch and complain all day about how much they don't like Facebook, but if we're all still on Facebook literally complaining about it, like I saw a friend yesterday posting and about Facebook on Facebook, complaining about it. So I deleted my personal profile on Facebook with 25,000 followers, 20,000 followers, I can't remember what it was, back in April. And now I'm talking about deleting the Conscious Resistance. And at first I did worry that I was going to lose my support base, because for years the majority of my work and following has come from Facebook and directly from my Facebook profile. And there are people who said, oh, I'm going to miss you, I won't see your content anymore, even though, again, I made it clear how many other places you can find me and how easy it is to bookmark my site. I don't want to contribute to the problem. The problem that I see is that people are so addicted to social media and technology overall, but specifically social media, that people just depend on following their favorite content creators, whether that's musicians, celebrities, activists, journalists, what have you. They depend on social media to tell them when they're doing stuff. And social media was a great tool for us to connect to each other, and not just to see the official statements made by your favorite musician, but you can actually see what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and they'll update you and they'll give you some behind the scenes sneak peek into their life. Like, that's really cool. It's interesting, right? But these companies, the mainstream companies, as with most mainstream things, cannot be trusted with our data. They share it. I mean, just yesterday it was reported again by the New York Times now, like, that Facebook gave access to people's private messages to Netflix and Spotify, and it's been going on for a while. I wrote an article 2 years ago called Why Are We Still Using Facebook?, talking about the studies that talk about depression and envy and jealousy that's produced by being on Facebook. And of course we know that it's an endorphin feedback loop where they're trying to keep you on there and keep you engaged as much as possible so that they continue to make money, add money off of your use. So I just generally don't want to support that. So I left Facebook, and I'm going to completely leave Facebook, the Conscious Resistance. I'm not going to delete it, but I will stop posting as of January 1st. They'll make one more post, and that'll be it. However, when it comes to YouTube, I'm willing to consider an alternative. And the only reason I'm saying this is because, like you said, you guys have been, some of you out there have been really working hard to convince me that the better move is for me to stay on these platforms rather than just isolate myself. And I do think that there is some truth to that. If you guys have been paying attention to the channels, you see that we've gone from 9,000 to nearly 20,000 subscribers just in a matter of a month or so. So we're doubled in a month, and we reached 1 million views back in August, and now we're almost at 2 million, and the vast majority of those have come from the Jeffrey Epstein documentary and from my city council visits. Those are things that wouldn't have been seen if I only posted them on BitChute or only on DTube, and I'm very aware of that. Now, I hate Google. I just hate everything the company stands for. I hate how much control they have of our lives, and they own YouTube. So all I'm saying is I'm open to being convinced. If you think I should stay on YouTube, I'm not going to stay on Instagram. I'm not going to stay on Facebook. I'm not going to continue to use Google search engine. I'm not going to continue to use Google Docs. I'm not going to continue to use Amazon and things like that, even if it costs me more money or it's more difficult. I'm going to stop supporting them. But I'm open to temporarily leaving my YouTube channel up for longer because of the amount of views. Now, the other side of myself says, well, this is just a slippery slope. You're making an excuse because, you know, there's views right now, and then next time you'll say, well, let's just get a little more views or a little more views, right? And then I end up staying on YouTube through 2019. I don't want that. But if there's a purpose, if there's a goal, if this is allowing me to reach more people, and if I can get your support, I know some of you who are hearing this have been following me for years now, since the beginning. Some of you since the very beginning of this channel and maybe even before this channel. I need your help if you want me to stay here so that you can see my content, because the hardcore of the hardcore are already on these alternative platforms we're about to go over, and I promise we're getting there. The hardcore of the hardcore are already on those platforms. But what we've come to find out is we're just isolating ourselves. We're the only ones over there. The normies, the noobs, the mainstreamers, the people that I tried to reach by, using tools like Facebook, they're still on those mainstream platforms because they don't pay attention. They're not really going to go out of their way. And I've realized that the more I've pushed this. And the other thing is, when people do go out of their way to join these alternative platforms and they go there and it's dead, there's nobody there, there's no activity, or none of their friends are there, they feel very isolated. And I think that's kind of part of the game. And so they rush back to go to Facebook or YouTube. And I understand that feeling. I've been isolated digitally since leaving Facebook and lost touch with a lot of people that I'm sure would like to get in touch with me. But I believe that it is important to take some level of a principled stance. So while I'm open to leaving YouTube up longer, since that's where all of a sudden I seem to be experiencing the most growth, I will be taking everything else down, or not taking everything else down, but just stop posting on all the other platforms come 2019. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, I spent 8 minutes ranting about this and not actually covering any alternative social media platforms, and we have quite a few to go through, so I want to take a moment to look into these. And I will say this, that some of my friends out there, James Corbett and others, have already done a good job looking at some of these social media platforms. Some of them will be familiar to you. I guarantee a few of them some of you have never heard of because they were brand new to me. And then also we're going to go over a couple of websites which are just essential tools if you're looking for alternatives to Google, to Facebook, to Amazon, and from search engines, from maps, from document sharing, from everything. Think about all the different ways your life is attached to Google or to YouTube, Facebook, and all these things. It's dangerous. I advise against it. So I'm not only getting off these social media channels, I'm trying to transfer all of my data off of Google Drives and all that stuff and just totally deactivate and delete all those accounts. No more Gmail, no more Google Voice, no more Google Drive, any of that stuff. And I'm going to stick by that one way or the other. So let's get into this. Now, if you don't want to follow me on Facebook or YouTube, which I advise you not to, you can check me out on steemit.com/@dbros. And now, what I will say about Steemit, I don't want to get into a long-winded thing about this. I've actually done videos on Steemit in the past for those who want to learn more about it. But I'll say this: Steemit was one of the first of the blockchain social media alternatives. Is it perfect? Not at all. Is there a potential for people to centralize their power, their Steem power, and to only reward their buddies so that only certain people are the ones making money and others are not? Absolutely. I see the problems in Steemit. However, the reason I still use it is because it's a blockchain-based social media platform. So everything I post on here is getting saved on the blockchain. It cannot be deleted. It cannot be censored. That's what I care more about. Like, This account here, if I was to down power, I have about $1,200 in it. I'm not worried about that. Maybe someday I will, or if it goes back up, then that would be cool. But it's basically, I use it because it's an alternative platform. And so I can post videos, I can post articles, and this is where I post everything I post, from videos, from essays and articles, and you can find them all here, right? The other thing is, so say this was Freedom Sells Peaceful Parenting. You click on it and it opens it up, and you click on the original link, and then it takes you to DTube. Now DTube is a part of the Steemit blockchain. It's just the video component, but it's an alternative to YouTube. It's a decentralized YouTube. So by following me at steemit.com/@dbros, you can see all of my content, whether it's video content, whether that's written content, or otherwise. And you can use my DTube account right here, which for some reason is not showing up. And you can see all my video content, right? So that's one way. Again, Steemit allows you to see my written content as well as my video content. All you have to do is just follow this one single page, and there you go. You don't even have to have an account if you don't want to comment or give me votes. Just watch it there. Now, and I regularly post everything to Steemit and DTube. Now, another video platform, which is the BitChute website. For some reason, I have a double post here, but this is where all of my video content is posted as well. And I have about 167 subscribers here so far. My top viewed video is the Jeffrey Epstein documentary at 547. It's going to be my first 1,000 view video on BitChute. And everything from our channel from YouTube is on here. Regan's videos, Hannah's videos, my finder's investigation, the documentaries, just everything. Everything that you expect to see on YouTube and Steemit and DTube is here on BitChute. And I like these two platforms, so please do follow those ones. Now, for some that you are probably more familiar with, Minds.com. Minds.com is MeWe.com is a growing popular platform that, if you look at it, it resembles Facebook in a lot of ways. You have home, you have chats, you have groups, you can make pages. So I have a conscious resistance page there as well. You can create events. Your emojis, you can pick from 1,000 different emojis on how you want to respond to people. So I have a personal profile here just under dbros, and then I also have the Conscious Resistance MeWe page, which has about 43 followers right now. And again, this is where we post the same content. So you can follow us just like you do on Facebook, and it looks nearly the same. It acts exactly the same. You can message me. You can, if you're looking for something very similar to Facebook, MeWe is probably going to be it. And of course, all these links will be in the description below. Now let me show you my Minds.com page. Minds.com is another one that's being very much pushed by the independent alternative media at the moment. There's a effort going on right now called Mind Shift, #MindShift, which is just calling for more and more people to switch over to Minds by January 1st. And the cool thing I like about Minds is, again, they recently converted their whole website to a blockchain. They have this internal token, which is based on Ethereum tokens, ERC tokens, and you can buy these or you can gift them to people. So a couple people have gifted me these tokens. One of these tokens is worth 1,000 views. So I can boost my post and it'll get seen, 1,000 more times. And so I've been doing that with the Jeffrey Epstein documentary. So that's pretty cool because people can directly support you with this internal currency, in-house currency. And I don't have a personal page on here. It's just minds.com/the Conscious Resistance Network. And again, the same thing. We post everything here, videos, everything that you see on my other platforms can be found on Minds, can be found on MeWe, can be found on BitChute, and can be found on Steemit. So those are the four that I'm actually currently using that you want to keep up with: Steemit and DTube, BitChute, Minds, and MeWe. Now the next couple I'm going to show you are actually ones that I have not used at all, but I've heard about recently and they seem quite interesting. I don't know that they're going to grow because, as I said already, there are already alternatives out there. There are good alternatives that exist, but the masses aren't there and the majority aren't going to come join us. So these are just, if you want a better platform, if you want a better way to communicate to people, then check it out. I think it's worth supporting, whether or not they're going to end up being the next big thing. Because we got to recognize, my belief is that because Facebook is so tied to the U.S. government and their history of funding coming from CIA venture funds, I don't think that they're going to be knocked down and become, the latest MySpace and replaced by something else unless the people in charge want us to go to somewhere else. And most people will follow. So I'm skeptical if that will even happen. But if it does happen, my guess is they're just going to herd us somewhere else they want us to go. But either way, let's check this out. We have Friendica. Friendica is a decentralized social network. And I'm not going to say they're all the same, but as far as decentralization, I think you guys get the idea. You can make posts, share videos, organize events, have a profile, and I will leave the link up to this so you can learn more about Friendica and what its decentralized structure looks like and how this social network works. This one is called PeerTube. Take back control of your videos, a decentralized video hosting network based on free Libre software. PeerTube version 1.0, and they got a cool picture of Aaron Schwartz right here and the internet's own boy. So it's talking about, this one very much has like a kind of hacker, take back the internet, user privacy and user in control of the experience first, that I appreciate. Now again, I don't know how many people are on here yet, but it might be an alternative to host some content or to look for content creators. Joinpeertube.org. And again, all these links will be posted in the video description. Mastodon, joinmastodon.org. This is one that I think is getting quite popular. Not maybe as popular as Minds or MeWe, but as you can see here, it was written about by Motherboard, the New York Times, Verge, Wired, and NPR. Social networking back in your hands. Follow friends, discover new ones among more than 1.6 million people that they say are on here. Publish anything you want, links, pictures, text, video, all on a platform that's community owned and ad free. And you can watch some of their videos on how it works and get started. And it does seem pretty interesting that you can kind of create what they're calling like a little federation. You can bring together different spaces and different groups and connect with people and create your own servers. And I mean, it's really interesting. It's a true, I think, decentralized version of what social media can be. Again, though, some of these are not very user friendly and the average person probably won't join. This one is Flixo.com, community-based video distribution. So as far as video goes, we got PeerTube and we have Flixo. Community-based video distribution. Again, I'll let you guys do your homework and look further into this. I'm just trying to show you the alternatives that do exist. Watch amazing videos and get rewarded when supporting your favorite creators. Flixo takes the most out of peer-to-peer distribution and cryptocurrencies for building up a video revolution. So again, this is a crypto-based social media platform. Now, what I want to show you next is these two websites, which are really great for finding alternatives to Google, to just everything. Switching.social, ethical, easy to use, and privacy conscious alternatives. So they have everything. This page goes to alternatives to Facebook and Twitter, alternatives to WhatsApp, Messenger, and Skype, alternatives to Google Search, Gmail, alternatives to Medium, alternatives to Amazon Books, Kindle, Audible, and Goodreads, alternatives to Windows, Microsoft Office, Chrome, Google Maps, Dropbox, Google Drive, Analytics, Steam, Change.org, alternatives to Google News, all-in-one alternatives. I mean, this is just a great resource. I clicked on ethical alternatives to Google Search just to show you here. Now, there are the obvious ones that I've talked about before. DuckDuckGo is a great alternative search engine that you should be using, not using Google. Stop telling people to Google it because it's just further entrenching that company and everything they represent into our very lexicon, into our mind. Take them out of your vocabulary. Quant, I think that's how you say it. Quant is a search engine based in Europe, which means it doesn't track users or personalize results. There's also Quant Junior, which is it only lists child-friendly results, and Quant Music. And you can see it right here. Quant, the search engine that respects your privacy. What are you looking for? And it works like a search engine, but it doesn't track you. Imagine that. So you have DuckDuckGo and Quant as some search engine alternatives to Google. SeerX, an open source meta search engine. So just, you can find just by looking on, spend some time just on this switching.social website right here and look up alternatives to Facebook, besides all the ones I've already told you. Alternatives to WhatsApp, Messenger, and Skype. I mean, the conveniences that we are used to, Skype and all these platforms, the reality is that they share our information. They share our data. They don't care about your privacy. They don't care about these kinds of things. And if you care about that, and if you want to use your purchasing power, and as people say, vote with your dollar. Well, you're also voting with your attention, because the more time you spend on these websites, the more you use them, the more they can make money off ad revenue, and generally you are supporting their business model. So if they don't line up with your principles and your beliefs, stop using them, stop supporting them. I don't think you guys would go out there and support Monsanto and buy Monsanto Roundup or Monsanto genetically engineered seeds because you know what Monsanto does to the world. So why support these companies that work against our freedoms and work with tyrannical governments? Now, nomooregoogle.com is another great alternative website right here. Privacy-friendly alternatives to Google that don't track you. So you have Google Chrome alternatives, search alternatives, Chrome passwords, Google Analytics, Google Mail, Google Docs, Sheets, YouTube, websites, Google AdWords, Authenticator, Blogger, DNS, Drive, Finance, Flights, Hangouts, Images, Maps, Scholar, Translate, and Weather. And you have alternatives to every single one of those Google apps that you're used to using. So between these two, Switching.social and No More Google, there's really no reason to continue to use these platforms. Now, that doesn't mean I embrace every single thing that's listed here. I would, like I have done, go through individually and see which ones actually are safe, look up some reviews. It's going to take some time. Imagine that. To protect your privacy and to actually live within your values is going to take some time. It's not going to be just as easy as choosing the mainstream platforms that are right in front of you. Many of us who come to this type of lifestyle of seeking alternative information and alternative education and seeking solutions, we understand that the mainstream news is garbage. We understand that in the mainstream culture, movies and music and media in general can be garbage and can be about pushing a culture that the people in control want, a submissive, just zombie-like culture, right? So then if we reject, in many cases, the mainstream movies, the mainstream culture, the mainstream movies, the mainstream news, then why do we just blindly accept the mainstream social media platforms? I think we should think about that. Now, this is another alternative site. Many of you may remember Prism. Prism was one of the NSA programs that Edward Snowden leaked about, and this is a website called prismbreak.org that just gives you some good tips on how to protect yourself from DNS servers, disk encryption, email alternatives, email add-ons, file sharing, and these are all privacy-based. They are much, much better than, say, for example, finance. Avoid PayPal and use something like Monero or Bisq. Instant messaging. Avoid Discord, Facebook Messenger, Hangouts, Line, Skype, Snapchat, all these things because they can be hacked, and try some of these alternatives. Again, the alternatives typically are not very user-friendly, at least not at the stage right now. But it's up to us to actually get on there and to make it something that people can use, and probably the more users it gets, the more user-friendly it will get, and then maybe you have a mass exodus of people actually joining. But if we only stay on these old platforms, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter, and we just complain and bitch about it, but we don't do anything, well, then we're very much, not likely going to see any real change take place. One more, just throw this out there, RetroShare, secure communication for everyone. This is one I found. Apparently you have file sharing, you can create forums, you can share mail, links, create channels, and apparently they're working on voice and video secure calls. So all of these alternatives can be found. There's Prism Break alternatives, No More Google, Switching.social for ethical and privacy conscious alternatives. And we looked at Flixo, we looked at PeerTube, we looked at Mastodon, Friendica, MeWe, Minds, BitChute, and Steemit. And of course, we looked at bookmarks. I remind you guys again to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com. I mean, I don't know how many other ways I can show you guys that there are alternatives to these controlled opposition platforms. And I don't know if any of this will even motivate you. This is a longer video than I planned, but I hope it's informative. I hope that you guys learned a little bit and can see where you can find me now. I also do have a Telegram channel that I believe I've mentioned before. If you're on Telegram, look up Derek Bros' Daily News or just contact me and I'll try to add you. And I also have a remind.com text list that allows me to text people directly to their phone. And if you're interested in signing up for that, you can go to remind.com/join/DB as in Derek Bros, Journo as in journalism, and you can sign up and you will get text updates to your phone whenever I put new videos and new articles. So I think I've done my job to make it easy for you guys to find me. I'm over here doing my part as a content creator, as a researcher, as a journalist. I'm going to dedicate my time and energy to creating new content, but I need your help and support to get it out. So whether or not you stay on Facebook or YouTube, or you join some of these new platforms, or you just bookmark websites, or you print out articles and post them around your city, or print out flyers with my content on it, whatever you do, I need your support. I need your help, because my work and my efforts will not survive if eyes and ears are not seeing them. Because after a while, I will have to go on and find a quote-unquote day job, a real job, as some would like to consider it, and stop researching so much because I simply cannot justify it. I can't justify it at the moment financially because there's no money coming in, but if at least I'm being seen by people, I will continue to work hard and continue to focus on this work as long as there are eyes and ears on it. So I am going to leave Facebook. I am going to leave Instagram. I am going to leave Twitter. I'm working on removing my stuff off Amazon, and I'm no longer going to use Google products. But I'm willing to make an exception for YouTube, for those of you who are on YouTube now, and for a lot of our new subscribers who've made it this far through this long video. But I need your help. Blast my content out everywhere possible. Make it worth me staying on YouTube. And maybe together we can reach all sorts of new minds and come up with some solutions together, because that's the whole reason I started doing this in the first place, is to try to find solutions and to connect people. And if that's what I have to do, if I have to swallow a bitter pill for a little bit and still use one single Google product, then that's what I'll do. But I will say this: I've never taken a dime from Google. I will never monetize any of my YouTube videos. I don't want their money, so I'll use the platform if it's worth, if you guys think it's worthy, but I will never take their money. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this video was helpful and informative. If you like it, please share, follow, subscribe, bookmark theconsciousresistance.com. And remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.